As well. Liz Peek and James Freeman are both here in the studio right now. And I don't know, Liz, I was saying to the guys earlier that I wouldn't necessarily put the government shutdown and the stock market, together as maybe top three. We have so many other things on our mind,
right.
But it's just another that you add to it. So
another
how does
uncertainty?
I guess,
and I think people really don't know how long it's going to last. The president's come out and said, oh, it could be a long time.
That's true.
And we've heard many people say most of the time shutdowns result in markets going higher for whatever sort of abstract reason. Look, I don't think that's a major market concern. I think what we're looking at right now is investors kind of putting their books to bed. I'm actually surprised that volume is as high as it is, except it is a triple witching day. I don't think there's anything that's going to move these markets dramatically one way or another.
Putting their books to bed, in other words, saying we're done for the year.
It's done for the year, and so there will be a little trading next week, not much. But I think people have to kind of come back to the fundamentals. We're worried about the Fed. The Fed is going to be flexible. I really think this idea that they're going to drive this economy into the ground is simply wrong.
Well, that's interesting because that's what President John Williams, tried to make the case of this morning when CNBC interviewed him. He's the president of the New York Fed, and his whole point was, hey, listen, I get it. We have 2 rate hikes, and we see things as being pretty good. That's now. We are willing to be flexible. It seemed like when Jay Powell said similar things the other day, nobody believed him. For a few minutes today, they believe Williams. So what do you think's going on here, James?
Yeah, I think they're saying they're going to watch the data as they've been doing. I think you got to remember we're still at pretty low rates. And look, it could be a very good economy next year. I think there's a lot of reason to think that it will be. So
that means they keep raising rates.
Perhaps. And I think that, if that's warranted because we're growing at 3% as we did this year, then no one's really going to have a problem with it. Now, obviously, a lot of signals in the market saying things are slowing down. But when you look at the current facts, we're on track for about 3% growth this year. Third quarter, $180 billion of capital expenditures more than in the fourth quarter of last year when the tax cut was passed. So this is all stuff that's going to be used by U.S. businesses to make more and make more things efficiently. So
that case, no, I totally understand what James is saying. The concern, obviously, and this is about can that continue. Do you see signs that it will slow down, actual signs, or it's just worries now about?
It's mostly, but the problem is there is a self-fulfilling prophecy aspect of all this,
If we talk about it so much.
If people get, yeah, exactly. I mean, what is driving this economy? It has been the consumer. If the consumer keeps seeing these scary headlines, and that's amplified by chaos in D.C. and so forth, it begins to get a pullback.
From a purely economic standpoint, do you think those, quote, scary headlines are unwarranted?
We've seen a little bit of a pullback on some of the manufacturing indices, like the Empire Manufacturing Index. We've seen a little bit of a pull down in consumer sentiment from a very high level.
And is oil telling us something?
And I think oil is its sort of own thing. I've been an oil watcher for so many years, and it's really in a different... I would say this, though. Since 1984, there have been 7 contractions in the market, corrections, without a recession. I think that's what we're looking at here.
And if that's the case, that's sort of what it sounds like you're looking for as well, James. That's okay for stocks. And, maybe this herd mentality, which to me, we have more herd mentality maybe now than ever because people just react so quickly. And sometimes it's not just people, it's someone pushing a button and the algorithms take over from there. So maybe the herd is wrong. Is that the point?
Well, if anyone's pushing buttons because they think a government shutdown is going to have a big long-term effect on anything,
they're probably wrong.
That would be a herd mentality.
No, but about global growth and concern about...
Look, the rest of the world is not doing as well as we are. There is some real data there. You mentioned some of these indices here coming off of their lows, but this is still, off their highs, but this is still a very strong economy when you look at capital expenditure, employment, still very good.
Is trade the most important thing to clean up in the new year quickly or no?
I think
you think so?
I think it's very important, but I don't think it's a quick fix. I mean, I think the White House is adamant